The 1970s was the decade when trucking went bigger, bolder, and absolutely insane. Before computers, before modern hydraulics, engineers built mega trucks so tough, so overpowered, and so ridiculously strong that they carried loads no one believed were possible. These giants hauled mining gear, power plant equipment, massive machinery, even loads too heavy for today's trucks. Get ready, because these are the 10 mega trucks from the 1970s built to haul the impossible. Number 1. Terex Titan Haul Truck. The Terex Titan was one of the most jaw-dropping heavy-haul machines ever built in the 1970s. A mining truck so massive that even today, its size seems unbelievable. While technically a mining haul truck and not a road truck, it deserves a place on this list because it performed highway-grade hauling tasks inside massive open-pit mines. Built in 1974, the Titan held the title of the largest, highest-capacity haul truck in the world for many years. Standing nearly 2 stories tall, weighing around 260 tons empty, and capable of carrying a staggering 350 tons of payload, this machine pushed the limits of what engineers thought was possible during that time. The Titan was powered by a 16-cylinder Detroit diesel 16-Voy 149 engine paired with an electric drive system, producing more horsepower than almost any other land vehicle of the decade. The massive size wasn't just for show. Its enormous tires, gigantic frame, and huge dump body allowed mining companies to move massive amounts of earth and ore with fewer trips, saving millions in operating costs. But because the maintenance, transportation, and operation of a truck this large required exceptional resources, only one working prototype was ever produced. Today, the Terex Titan is retired and displayed at the British Columbia Visitor Center, and it remains one of the most awe-inspiring mechanical giants ever built. With modern megatrucks dominating the mining world, the Titan stands as a testament to the fearless engineering spirit of the 1970s, a time when bigger truly meant better and the limits of heavy hauling were being pushed like never before. Number 2. Kenworth 848. Oilfield Monster. The Kenworth 848, built in the early 1970s, was a heavy-haul tractor specifically engineered to handle some of the toughest oilfield operations in North America and the Middle East. These trucks were used to drag enormous drilling rigs, pump modules, casing units, and other oversized loads through muddy oilfield terrain where normal trucks would instantly get bogged down. What makes the Kenworth 848 especially fascinating is that it wasn't a mass-produced model. Each truck was custom-built to the specifications of its operator, making every unit unique and extremely rare. Most 848s were equipped with massive V12 engines, such as the Detroit diesel 12071, capable of producing huge torque required for low-speed, high-weight pulling. Some configurations included 6x6 or 8x8 drivetrains, giving the trucks all-wheel traction needed for extreme terrain. These trucks often hauled equipment weighing over 150-200 tons, sometimes in multi-truck push-pull configurations. The combination of massive power, military-grade durability, and off-road capability made the Kenworth 848 one of the most fearsome industrial trucks of the 19th. Because these trucks were used in harsh oil field regions, remote deserts, snow-covered drilling sites, and muddy swamps, most were worn down over time and scrapped once newer, more efficient heavy haulers appeared. Very few original 848 units survive today. The Kenworth 848 stands as a reminder of an era when extreme oil field hauling demanded monstrous trucks built with brute force, massive engines, and no hesitation in pushing mechanical limits. Number 3. Oshkosh M911 Wagon 2. During the 1970s, the U.S. military needed a new tractor capable of hauling extreme military loads, armored vehicles, missile systems, engineering equipment, and tank recovery units. The result was the Oshkosh M911, nicknamed the Wagon 2, designed as part of the Heavy Equipment Transport (HET) system to move tanks and armored vehicles across long distances. While the first Wagon from World War II was famous, the 1970s M911 brought heavy hauling into the modern era with advanced engineering and a monstrous level of power. Powered by a Detroit diesel 8V92 TA engine producing around 450 horsepower, huge for the time, The M911 was paired with a heavy-duty Allison transmission and a reinforced 8x6 drivetrain. This allowed the truck to transport loads exceeding 60-70 tons, including early versions of the M60 tank and other armored vehicles. The truck was designed to operate in deserts, jungles, and rough terrain where civilian heavy haulers could never survive. What makes the M911 rare today is that it served during a transition period of U.S. military transport technology. When the more modern Oshkosh M911 arrived in the late 1980s, the M911 was quickly phased out. Most units were sold to foreign militaries or scrapped, while only a small number remained preserved in military vehicle collections. Its giant square frame, wide stance, and unmistakable sound earned the M911 a legendary status among military truck fans. For its time, it was one of the most powerful heavy tractors on the planet, a true 1970s mega truck designed to carry impossible loads through impossible environments. Number 4. International Fleetstar F-Series Heavy Hauler. The International Fleetstar F-Series was one of the most versatile industrial trucks of the 1970s, but its heavy haul variants remain among the rarest. These trucks were often used for ultra-specialized hauling operations, such as transporting bridge beams, refinery equipment, large generators, and oversized construction modules. The heavy-haul Fleetstars were built for jobs where weight limits were pushed to the absolute maximum and where truck failures could cost millions of dollars. Equipped with massive diesel engines, most commonly the Cummins NTC series or Detroit Diesel 8V71, the heavy Fleetstars delivered torque needed for slow, steady pulling under extreme load conditions. The trucks featured reinforced frames, heavy-duty suspension systems, and transmissions designed for hauling hundreds of thousands of pounds. Some Fleetstar configurations were even used in tandem, paired together in push-pull formations for oversized industrial cargo that no single truck could handle alone. The reason these 1970s heavy-haul Fleetstars are so rare today is because they worked in industries where trucks were simply tools. They hauled incredible weight, often in harsh conditions where lifespan was short and maintenance costs were high. Unlike highway trucks that are preserved by collectors, industrial heavy haulers like the Fleetstar were almost always used until they failed completely. By the early 1990s, nearly every heavy Fleetstar had been retired or scrapped. Today, very few examples survive, and the heavy haul variants are nearly unknown outside of enthusiast communities. Yet their contribution to infrastructure building, industrial transport, and refinery expansion during the 1970s cannot be overstated. These were the quiet giants that moved the world behind the scenes. Number 5. Peterbilt 359. Heavy spec, 1970s mining and oversized additions. The Peterbilt 359, introduced in the late 1960s and produced through the 1970s, is one of the most beloved American trucks of all time. But the rare heavy-spec versions built during the 1970s, engineered specifically for mining, logging, and oversized industrial hauling, are the ones that truly qualify as mega trucks capable of hauling impossible loads. These special configurations featured reinforced double-frame designs, massive front axles, extra-wide rear drives, and heavy-duty suspensions that allowed them to pull loads far beyond normal highway limits. Many were powered by monster engines like the Caterpillar 6093, Cummins NTC 400, or even early high-output V8 diesels, with torque numbers exceeding 1,400 lb-ft. Huge for the 1970s, these trucks could pull entire logging trailers, transformer modules, or multi-axle lowboy trailers across rugged mountain terrain. The heavy-spec 359s were often used in the oil fields of Texas and Alberta, the logging camps of Washington and British Columbia, and the mining regions of Nevada and Wyoming. These environments were extremely punishing. Trucks were pushed for thousands of hours with minimal rest, navigating snow, mud, steep grades, and unpaved access roads where breakdowns were dangerous and costly. As a result, most 359 heavy-spec units didn't survive long enough to become historical collector's items. Many were cannibalized for parts or rebuilt so many times that their original configuration no longer exists. Today, surviving heavy-haul Peterbilt 359s from the 1970s are prized treasures, symbols of an era when trucks were built with pure steel, raw horsepower, and fearless engineering. They represent the last generation of all-mechanical American hauling power before emissions, electronics, and modern limitations began shaping the trucking world. Number 6. Mack R700 Heavy Haul Spec. The Mack R700 Heavy Haul Spec from the 1970s was one of the toughest on-road heavy-duty trucks ever built during that era. While the R-Series became a common sight in North America, Australia, and parts of the Middle East, the heavy-spec versions were extremely rare and specifically engineered for oversized industrial transport. These trucks were built to haul oil rig modules, heavy engineering components, oversized freight containers, and mining machinery loads so massive that even today's modern trucks would struggle to handle them without advanced assistance. What made the R700 Heavy Spec truly special was its no-nonsense, all-mechanical construction, designed to thrive in environments where maintenance facilities were scarce and failure was not an option. Under the hood, these trucks typically carried legendary engines such as the Mack E9 V8, the Cummins NTC 350-400, or the Detroit Diesel 12-volt 71. These massive engines produced extreme torque, allowing the truck to start heavy loads from a dead stop on inclines or rough terrain. The R700 heavy spec versions were built with extremely reinforced frames, double-rail chassis, heavy-duty axles, and industrial-grade transmissions including Fuller Road Ranger 13 and 18-speed units. Some units even featured mechanical winches and hydraulic boosters to aid in pulling and positioning oversized loads. What made these trucks nearly mythical was their ability to operate in brutal working conditions, remote oil fields, mountainous mining roads, and hot desert routes. These environments ate through trucks like they were disposable tools, and as a result, the R700 Heavy Spec saw massive wear and tear. Most were scrapped by the late 1990s or cannibalized for parts to keep other trucks running. Today, finding an original 1970s Mack R700 heavy hauler is nearly impossible. They were machines built without compromise, designed for the hardest work on Earth, and their disappearance marks the end of an era of mechanical trucking power that will never return. Number 7. Faun L900 L1000 Heavy Transport Tractor. In the 1970s, Europe had its own breed of mega-trucks built for extreme hauling, and leading the pack was the Faun L900 and L1000 series, German-engineered heavy transport tractors designed to move oversized industrial loads, military equipment, and massive construction modules. These trucks were not built for regular freight. They were purpose-designed for moving multi-hundred-ton loads that required precision, strength, and unmatched durability. Faun, known for building military and heavy industry vehicles, developed the L900/L1000 series to serve industries like power generation, steel manufacturing, and infrastructure development. Powered by giant engines such as the Deutz 12-cylinder air-cooled diesel, the Faun tractors delivered immense torque while also providing excellent cooling reliability, especially important for long, slow, uphill heavy-haul journeys. The trucks featured multi-axle configurations, extremely thick ladder frames, and heavy-duty planetary axles. Their transmissions were specifically geared for ultra-low speed hauling, allowing them to move massive loads at just a few kilometers per hour without overheating or mechanical failure. Some Faun heavy haulers even operated in push-pull setups, where 2 or more trucks worked together to move impossible cargo. These trucks were used heavily during the industrial boom of the 1970s, when factories, power plants, and refineries expanded rapidly across Europe and the Middle East. But because the trucks were so specialized, most were retired once the projects they were built for were completed. Very few units survived into the 2000s. Many were scrapped or abandoned, and only a handful remain preserved in industrial museums. Today, the Faun L900/L1000 stands as a symbol of German heavy-haul engineering at its peak, a reminder of a time when trucks were built with extreme strength and simplicity to do the jobs that no one else could attempt. Number 8. Scammell Crusader Heavy Duty. The Scammell Crusader, introduced in the early 1970s, is one of the most legendary heavy-haul trucks ever built in the United Kingdom. Designed during a period when Britain was investing heavily in industrial expansion, military logistics, and long-distance freight operations, the Crusader filled a unique role. It was a truck built specifically for extreme-duty operations, hauling oversized transformers, construction beams, military equipment, and infrastructure modules weighing hundreds of tons. What made the Crusader so special was its combination of simplicity, brute strength, and durability at a time when few trucks in Europe were capable of hauling such extreme loads. The Crusader was powered by engines such as the Rolls-Royce Eagle diesel, known for reliability and torque. Some variants even used the Cummins NTC 335 for extra pulling power. These engines were paired with heavy-duty manual transmissions and multi-axle configurations that allowed the Crusader to handle punishing load weights without structural failure. The truck's appearance was unmistakable. A tall, straight-edged cab with a wide stance and large front grille, giving it a powerful road presence that became iconic in British heavy-haul culture. The Crusader was commonly used by well-known heavy-haul operators like Wins, Pickfords, and H.C. Smith, who relied on these trucks to move enormous industrial loads across narrow and winding UK roads, an engineering challenge on its own. However, the combination of low production numbers, heavy usage, and aging mechanical systems led to most Crusaders being scrapped or retired by the 90s. Only a few survive today, often lovingly restored by enthusiasts. These survivors represent a golden age of UK heavy-haul trucking, when massive loads were moved without digital assistance, just raw mechanical power and skilled drivers. The Scammell Crusader remains one of the rarest and most admired mega trucks of the 90s. Number 9. Berliet T100. Although originally built in the late 1950s, the Berliet T100 saw significant operational use throughout the 1960s and into the early 1970s, making it one of the mega trucks active during the decade. Known as the largest truck in the world at the time, the Berliet T100 was a French-built off-road heavy-haul monster designed for oilfield transport in the Sahara Desert. Only 4 units were ever made, making it one of the rarest trucks in heavy-haul history. The T100 was powered by a massive Cummins V12 diesel engine, producing over 700 horsepower, an unimaginable number for the 90s. Its gigantic size allowed it to carry drilling rigs, pipelines, and refinery modules across loose sand and desert heat where normal trucks had no chance of survival. With a height of over 14 feet, a length of more than 50 feet, and a weight exceeding 50 tons empty, the Berliet T100 was an engineering marvel long before heavy-haul technology became mainstream. The truck's enormous wheels and off-road suspension allowed it to traverse harsh desert terrain, making it uniquely suited for petroleum operations during a time of rapid oil expansion. By the mid-1970s, however, most oilfield companies shifted to more modern heavy-haul vehicles, and the T100 fleet was retired. 2 were scrapped, 1 was left abandoned, and only 1 remains preserved today. The Berliet T100's continued presence into the 1970s earns it a place on this list, not only for its sheer scale, but also because it represented a pioneering vision of what heavy-haul trucks could become. It remains one of the most iconic mega trucks ever produced. Number 10. Diamond Reo Giant Dump and Heavy-Haul Tractor. The Diamond Reo Giant, introduced in the 1970s, was one of the last great American specialty-built megatrucks designed for extreme-duty mining and industrial work. Diamond Reo was already known for producing rugged commercial vehicles, but the Giant was on a completely different level. It was engineered specifically for ultra-heavy hauling tasks, such as moving oversized mining equipment, transporting ore, and supporting large infrastructure projects. Its massive size, reinforced steel chassis, and powerful driveline made it a favorite among companies that required brute strength over comfort or modern features. Most Diamond Reo Giants were fitted with massive engines, including the Cummins KT450, Detroit Diesel 12-volt 71, or even larger industrial spec options depending on customer requirements. These engines produced immense torque, making the Giant capable of hauling some of the heaviest loads of the era, often surpassing 100 tons in mining operations. The truck featured oversized axles, heavy-duty transmissions, and extremely robust suspension systems engineered to withstand constant punishment in rugged environments. Production numbers were extremely low, as each unit was custom-built for mining companies or industrial contractors. The Giant was never meant to be a mainstream commercial truck. It was a specialized workhorse built for a narrow range of extreme tasks. As global mining expanded and new technology emerged in the 1980s and 1990s, the Diamond Reo Giant was gradually replaced by more modern, higher-capacity mining trucks and heavy haulers. Most were scrapped after decades of harsh use, and today only a few scattered examples survive in mining museums or private collections. The Diamond Reo Giant represents the end of an era when American manufacturers built mega trucks with raw steel, powerful engines, and fearless engineering. It remains one of the most extraordinary heavy-duty trucks of the 1970s. These 1970s monsters weren't just trucks. They were engineering miracles that proved pure mechanical power still reigns supreme. Decades later, many of them remain unmatched, reminding the world how far raw innovation can go without computers or electronics. If you enjoyed this journey into the era of unstoppable hauling power, hit like, subscribe, and tell me which mega truck shocked you the most. Thanks for watching, and buckle up because the next video dives into even more legendary machines that push the limits of what trucks can do.